Ooh, that. Boy, I don't know about you guys. I got my time's worth. I got my money's worth. That was a fun pay-per-view. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Down, Down, Up, Ups. Your boy here, Apollo, and obviously the topic of the day is AEW's Revolution 2022. Mwah, delicious, delicious. Is this AEW's best pay-per-view? No, no, it wasn't. There are going to be some things for us to go through in this because of taste and opinion. Was it a darn fine pay per view? Yes, it was. And I had a lot of fun predicting it. And before we get into it, I really just want to pat myself on the back. The two matches that I can struggle with all day for this show were without a doubt Kingston Jericho and Danielson Moxley. I called both of them right. And for me, enjoying stuff and getting it right makes it 100 times better. What a fun time. Let's do this. 12 matches to go through, and we're starting off with the buy-in. Layla Hirsch, Chris Statlander. I'll give AEW credit. I really didn't think we'd be doing anything with Hirsch on a pay-per-view, more specifically pre-show. But we did. It was an okay match from what I was expecting. And then Hirsch got herself part of the turnbuckle and decided to just whale Statlander on the head with it. Or more specifically, one of the hooks used for the turnbuckle. And the referee completely missed that. One more flashy move later, and that was it. Layla Hirsch did indeed get the win. We had, I believe, Red Velvet come out, got a little confrontational. And good for Hirsch. I really didn't think she was going to get a win. She did. Crowd was okay enough with it. And she's getting herself into a number one contenders match soon, too. So we'll get into that later. Next up, we had Hook destroying QT Marshall. Honestly, I was hoping there would be a bit more destruction in this one, but I can see why we were holding back on a lot of big things because we had big things to come in the pay-per-view. Match did what it needed to do. Marshall tapped out like a little baby girl, and can't complain one bit. Hook, we sent for him. He delivered. Love to see it. Then, this, in my opinion, for a match on the buy-in, way better than I think I could have given it credit for. House of Black taking on Eric Redbeard, Pac, and Pentagon. Just a lovely tag team match. Really loved the Rowan spots, and the crowd was hot for him too. And the finish was fantastic. Also, a lot of credit to the false finishes in this match too. It was just a fun time on the buy-in. That's really what it was. But Redbeard was a credit to his team taking the pin on House of Black. There was just no way they were going to have Murphy lose with his first teaming of House of Black. It took a lot to put down Rowan, though, but some missed. I think another kick to the head, another knee, and then a crazy Rikishi driver by Brody King. 1, 2, 3. That boy is not getting up from that. House of Black takes this one, and I'm very curious to see what's next. And if we are also fine for now with having 3 people in the group working with what we've got. And also, if Redbeard stays around, and when is Phoenix going to come back? A lot of questions depending on this rivalry because it's far from over. I personally believe it's far from over. Now we kick off the main show, and like I said, there's just something great about calling this stuff and get emotionally invested. Because we started with Jericho and Kingston. This scared the absolute heck out of me from the get-go. Jericho just gets dropped on his head the first couple of seconds in this match. Like, the way Kingston was coming to the ring, you knew he meant business. But at the same time, I'm not even sure Jericho was expecting that. I was terrified, but thankfully Chris was okay, as far as I know, and we were able to get down to business. As physical as it gets, Jericho was a bit of a sly dog, though. He was working on Kingston's eye for a bit of this match. But then, boom, Kingston gets that back fist. Jericho does not lose to just one, but gets the code breaker. Kingston kicks out. Another code breaker. Jericho looks for that juice effect, but we had an exposed turnbuckle. Boom, Jericho gets sent to that. 2 more spinning back fists. And then, of all things, I can't for the life of me remember the name of it, but Kingston is basically just cracking and twisting Jericho's neck time and time after again in his submission. And Jericho tapped. Not only does Eddie Kingston get his big AEW win, but by a submission over Jericho. Ooh, just tasty. I am so glad Eddie got that. And you could see how he was like selling it after, like, I won, like almost gonna cry, but just happy and smiling enough, like this is my moment. That was lovely to see. And interestingly enough, Jericho did not shake Kingston's hand. He pulled a Kingston himself, sore loser. No handshake, walk into the back. Is this feud still going? Don't know. Personally, for me, I would be happy if that was it. But I had fun. Speaking of fun, we kept the fun going. Triple threat match for the tag team championships. What a blast this was. Jurassic Express, of course, defending against Red Dragon, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, and the Young Bucks. This match did not give me much time to breathe once we got down to the nitty-gritty. And again, the false finishes were crazy. Red Dragon are stealing it as much as they could get, high and low, again and again. Bucks, oh man, they almost stole it with that BTE trigger. But thankfully, I'm pretty sure it got broken up. But after just a patience and realization that Bucks and Red Dragon aren't going to be working together for a lot, Jurassic Express able to get that beautiful flip into that powerbomb. 1, 2, 3, still the champions. The faith paid off. They were not going to lose their first pay-per-view title defense, and they were not going to lose in a multi-man championship defense. AEW has still been very smart about those. They are rare to see in AEW, but they do not switch championship belts too. And by the way, we really did not need the Bucks and Red Dragon over the belts right now. I would have loved to see Red Dragon, and I think they will get the belts, but not tonight. I do think they will be the ones to take the championships off of Jurassic Express, but not tonight. But again, we really did not give a lot of room to breathe during this first part of the show because we went right to the ladder match. Oh, what a fun time. Christian Cage, Wardlow, Keith Lee, Ricky Starks, Powerhouse Hobbs, Will Power, baby, and Orange Cassidy. This was fun, and of course it was going to be fun. Everybody had their little time to shine, but man, I was worried to death about Christian being in there. But thankfully, no, he did not take any kind of crazy ladder bump. In fact, it was great to see him hit the Exterminator, that reverse DDT, off of a ladder. That was so nostalgic for me. Keith Lee was looking great with his pouncing and that little creep up on Christian when he was going for the spear. Shades of NXT on that little note. And oy vey, Starks coming out with the Stroke Daddy jacket. Yeah, that's a lot, Starks. That is certainly a lot. And my God, JR just could not stop saying it. But when we got down to the bread and butter, lovely spot with Wardlow taking out Hobbs and Keith Lee. Coming back to the ring, not a huge powerbomb symphony, a very safe one to Christian. And I'm not sure if the one to Starks was meant to be hit like that. In my opinion, Starks got hit prematurely, but the crowd didn't care too much because the winner of the match was Wardlow, and down to it, I think it was a right decision by all means. If it wasn't going to be Christian Cage for the life of me, if you guys saw my video, you knew I was expecting Wardlow to win this over Keith Lee. Keith, you're great, you're going to be great, but the fact is, you come to AEW, you can't skip the line. You can't do that, in my opinion, and I'm glad that this applied to this match. Wardlow better win the championship, and considering what we saw, I'm not sure if he is. But we'll see. We'll see. But he got that lovely Cheerio. Face of the Revolution is Wardlow. Then, the better women's match of the night. I'll say it. Jade Cargill, Ty Conti, TBS Women's Championship match. Here's the thing. Everyone is going crazy about the kiss that happened when the match started. I'll be completely honest with you guys. My friends and I were watching the show. We missed it. I don't know how we missed it. We must have been talking, yelling, eating our dinner, looking at something else. We completely missed it, and I think that was lucky for me because the match was really good. It was really good. Without a doubt, Jade Cargill's best women's match to date. Taya's debatably, honestly. I think her and Baker's might have been a little bit better at their pay-per-view match, but for Jade, this was great. And the false finishes were also crazy for this. Anna Jay cheap shotting with the chair, Taya hitting basically all of her moves to win, but just could not put away Jade. But the chance Jade got, Glam Slam, 1, 2, 3, still TBS Women's Champion, Jade. And she had a lot of Jade on her, if you guys got that reference. Love to see it. Then here's where we definitely go mid. I'm surprised to say it myself, but the dog collar match. CM Punk, well, let's go through entrances first. It was great to see MJF finally troll with the CM Punk music. That was funny. That was funny and overdue. But then, what a surprise. I was unsure of it myself until I saw what CM Punk was wearing. We got Ring of Honor CM Punk. Of course, we're not going to get the blonde hair. All of you people need to calm down. But it was a nice little touch. I don't believe anyone's super marked over it, but it was pretty cool to see because MJF already started with the Cult of Personality theme, so why should Punk just come out to that and kind of inflate it? So no, came out to his Ring of Honor theme, looking like his old Ring of Honor self. Pretty cool. As far as the match goes, yeah, I am disappointed. I didn't think I'd hear myself say that, but I think there were problems with this. One, I already disagreed with what we did in Chicago leading up to this. It should have been the other way around for wins. Two, the match itself in Chicago was crazy. This was not crazy. It was violent and somewhat brutal, but it was very slow and tiresome. That is a problem. Also doesn't help that I'm not the biggest fan of these matches, but I did enjoy Cody and Brody's match that they did for the TNT title back a couple of years ago. I had expectations with this similar, and it wasn't. It wasn't. I'm not saying this was a bad match, but if I'm ever going to rewatch CM Punk and MJF, I'm going to go back to Chicago and watch that match. This did not do it so much. The thing that saves it at the end of the day was the finish indeed. Because MJF finally needed some help. He called Wardlow to come give him the ring. Wardlow came, but he couldn't seem to find it. A go to sleep by CM Punk, and then Wardlow finds the ring. Confirmed face turn. He left it for Punk, and Punk, after being spat in the face by one last defiant MJF, punched his stupid face with the ring and pinned him 1, 2, 3. That was a good finish. That was nice to see. So in the end, I still disagree with who should have won what match. But moving forward, I don't think it's going to be a major problem. And I am stoked to see Wardlow doing better things with himself. MJF, you're a tool. Enjoy another pay-per-view loss, you wuss. CM Punk may himself just be ready for a world championship match, but we'll keep the fingers crossed on that for now. But then, I had my problems with the dog collar match. Nothing too long term. Then we move into our problems. We had Thunderosa and Britt Baker, and I don't really need to say much. I feel bad that apparently Britt did go through this match hurt, and I could really tell Thunder carried so much of this match, practically the whole match. But what do? We just did the same old thing. Same old thing with Britt. And I'm bored of it. I'm not mad. Like, I like Britt Baker. I like her with the belt. But I didn't need to see this on a pay-per-view. I would have been more happy if we got something different, or maybe Britt not even on the pay-per-view. It was just the same old thing. It was Thunder winning like 2, 3 times, but the ref didn't see it, and then Britt eventually just steals it. In this case, it was a curb stomp. I think second curb stomp to beat Thunder Rosa. So, wasn't crazy about it. I'm not mad, but this was a huge fault of the show. Thankfully, not near the end of the card. But from what I've understood, we are indeed getting a number 1 contenders match with Layla Hirsch and Thunder Rosa, where the winner will be fighting Britt, I believe, in Texas. If Thunder Rosa wins the championship, then, providing that she beats Layla Hirsch, that'll be a good pop for Texas. So you know what? There is a little bonus depending on how things go. Because at this point, I'm kind of just waiting for Britt to drop the belt and see if she becomes a bit more interesting without it. Didn't do it for me. Did it ruin the show? No, but it sure slowed things down. But then we picked the ball back up. And before I get into the last 3 matches, I believe, we did sign Isaiah Swerve Scott from WWE. It was a nice little touch. The crowd popped, even though Tony showed off the contract with his name on it way too early. But I didn't say anything, and thankfully I don't think my friends noticed. It was a nice touch. Good to see Swerve, and we're not even done with people showing up yet, because let's get down to it. Danielson, Moxley. it was a coin toss for this. It was a coin toss, but just something told me that Moxley was going to win this. I didn't think he would technically steal it, but it was nonetheless. The match itself was great. It was a lovely time. It was brutal, physical, and they both bled like we expected. But then I'm starting to get worried. Danielson is putting in so many submissions. We're really teasing that Moxley's going to pass out. But a little roll up and a botched pin, and Moxley is the winner. Yeah! Oh, it was nice to call that one. They were not done. Danielson was pissed. They kept fighting. They didn't care about the security. But then who shows up? William Regal. William Regal. They got Regal. He signed. He slapped both of them. He made them shake hands. We got William Regal on and off TV in AEW, and I'm really happy. I'm really happy to see the Regal spark back in wrestling. He is great. Honestly, he could have just came out and screamed war games at them, and we would have still popped like crazy. He is fantastic. I really hope he is going to be a big part of Danielson and Moxley's little stable going on, or at least little team up manager, and give him something to do with the Ring of Honor guys too, because there is just more I want to see Regal do, and bring in Samoa Joe to work with Regal. I just have such high expectations now that Regal is here. Let's go though. Now, before the last two, I did forget to mention this on the buy-in. Statlander's entrance had Kenny Omega in the Tron. We were confused, and then we understood why. It was a botch because Kenny Omega's music played after the match. Instead, Don Callis came out and wasted our time. That's pretty much all I'm going to throw on that. Don Callis came out during the buy-in and wasted my time. Back to the main card. I just wanted to mention it before I forget. This is a bit of a surprise, but you know what? I'm going to go for it. Match of the night. Yep, match of the night. Sting, Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, Andrade, Matt Hardy, Isaiah Cassidy, match of the night. I'm not going to go through this spot by spot. Sting is crazy. I'll say that for him. Table spots, table spots, table spots. Lovely match. Enjoyed every little second of this. It was as crazy as it get. Honestly, what makes it even funnier is a friend of mine left before this match, and he's not on fanage with Sting. He's not a fan, doesn't like what's going on with him and Darby. He is a sour grape missing this match. That's all I can say for that. This was fun. So much fun. If you're going to watch one match from Revolution, watch this match. Please, you will not be disappointed. Winners, of course, were Sting, Darby Allin, and Sammy Guevara. And Sting, as far as I believe, still undefeated, looking good, loving what they're doing. Then we get to the main event. It was as good as I expected. It was as good as I expected. Adam Cole, Adam Page, championship on the line. The dumb interference really didn't need to happen, but I tell you, when Red Dragon came out and it started to get shenanigan-y, all my brain saw was Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano at TakeOver New York. All my brain saw, and that's when I realized, yes, Adam Page is going to retain. He survived everything from Cole. And even got the buckshot, but then the rope break started to turn my head. Until finally, you just knew he was back in the driver's seat. Another buckshot. 1, 2, 3. Adam Page is still the world champion. Good job, AEW. You got a pay-per-view with no title changes, and it still kicked some serious butt. And even shook Cole's unconscious hand after the match. And that's it. AEW Revolution 2022 was a great show to watch as a wrestling fan. This was my WrestleMania, and I enjoyed it to a T. And again, I had a pretty decent night of calling. I think, what did I miss? I picked Statlander, so that's one wrong. Wardlow and Christian Cage was the debate. I'm not going to throw that shade at me. I got the women's match for the women's championship wrong. By the way, I like the new belt. I did get the dog collar match wrong. So, is that it, or am I missing one more? Hold on, that's 3. Did I really get 9 right? Hook, House of Black, Eddie Kingston, Jurassic Express, Wardlow, Jade Cargill, bear with me here, Adam Page, Jon Moxley. Where am I missing one? Bottom line, just because I like to go through this stuff in general, I had a good night of calling this stuff. AEW has always kept me at a consistent 2/3-ish majority call, and I do enjoy getting them right. Like I said, getting Jericho and Kingston along with Moxley and Danielson right was the highlight of my night. If you guys want to watch some good wrestling, tune into AEW. Can't say much more than that. I'll see you guys leading up to WrestleMania. Most likely I won't see you until probably either the WrestleMania predictions or the Stand and Deliver NXT predictions. You guys have a lovely day. Thanks for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what your favorite match at Revolution was and what do you hope is going to happen in the next few weeks with AEW. I'm just hoping for more great things. More great things. So glad Regal's here. Keep it tight.